Fallout television show is definitely an interesting experience. If a show is able to make you ponder upon something or even come to some sort of profound realization, it's definitely achieved something good. And the Fallout show was able to do that for me. While imperfect, Fallout is an authentic and satisfactory game adaptation. I lost interest in the show a number of times, but the show did enough to keep me watching until the final episode. Overall, the show was solid. There are already plenty of people who will go into extreme detail about how much or how little the show respects the established lore. That aspect has definitely been covered quite well. Rather, I want to focus your attention to something completely different: the tone. When you're playing the game of Fallout, depending on who you are and the type of person or the type of person you're choosing to play as, you can have completely different experiences because of the huge amount of player choice Bethesda and Obsidian is able to give you in their experiences. Now, while Fallout definitely tackles mature subject matter on a regular basis, in all of my playthroughs of Fallout, primarily whether it was New Vegas, Fallout 3 or Fallout 4, in my head, Fallout is definitely primarily a comedy. From the ridiculous scenarios you find yourself in to the many questionable solutions you can find to your problem. The realization that the Fallout show showed me is that, the world of Fallout is a lot more bleak than I had actually come to the realization of. Because I find everything so funny, and because you're playing as these goofy characters doing these goofy decisions most of the time, and of course the game-breaking bugs that break immersion on a regular basis, I had somewhat even forgotten how bad the wasteland truly was. That first episode was definitely a jarring experience, but not just that, the gratuitous violence that has now become comical in the games with perks such as Bloody Mess. It reminded me that Fallout is an absolutely horrible and worst case scenario for humanity if the bombs were to actually drop. Seeing these things unfold in the show really gave the show a true and touching human element. It was in fact jarring to see how things I saw as comedic being put into a completely different perspective. When you're playing the Fallout game, it's like you're having a huge amount of fun on a playground. What the show was able to do is splash some cold water to bring you back to reality. There are many cool IPs that are all over, whether it be the gaming or anime space, that we would like to share with the entire world and have more people interact with this thing. But the thing is, there are a huge amount of things that also should not get live action adaptations, whether it be gaming or anime. We have many examples of these plentiful failures. While many people place blame on the execution and the production by the studios that create these things, in most cases the source material is simply not suitable for a real-life adaptation. Fallout, on the other hand, is probably one of the best templates out on the market to create some sort of live-action adaptation. This series doesn't have a notable main character or even a notable main story. Every single release starts off with new people, a new place, and a completely brand new journey, with the only constants being the aesthetics and of course the factions. This makes it the perfect place for a storyteller to plant their new tale. This in fact made it smooth sailing for the showrunners to create their completely own characters within the world of Fallout. The characters in the show are quite good, and the thing is, this great template gave the showrunners complete freedom to do whatever they needed to do with the characters that they chose to create. They could completely go wild and take pieces and leave pieces out that they felt were unnecessary. The characters are good. Lucy's naivety and good-heartedness makes it easy to support her, and seeing her adapt to the wasteland is satisfying and saddening as she becomes more competent, but at the same time continues to lose her innocence. Maximus, on the other hand, is a character that I actually hated at the beginning. His actions seemed quite slimy, but as the show progressed, he eventually grew and owned up to his mistakes and became a better person. And the ghoul, he's alright, he's fine. I've seen over the community that many people like him, but I'm more like, meh. His character before the war is definitely far more interesting, but despite that, Goggins provides a stellar performance as he usually does. The Fallout television show is a solid experience that I can pretty much recommend to most people. It's a solid 7 out of 10. If you miss out on the show, you definitely won't be missing out on much. It's not a vital piece of art that you need to watch, that you'll miss out on, that will be remembered for many generations to come. It's solid. And if you're somebody who's played and enjoyed the Fallout games, it's definitely a must watch, and it's an interesting way in which they handle this world, the aesthetics, and the characters. My goodness, they spent a huge amount of budget into making this world beautifully authentic, and it's interesting to see how this show plays out from a different and much more grim perspective. I definitely would have appreciated more moments of levity in this show, as Fallout is definitely more comedic and has more comedic charm in my opinion, but they went for a different angle and went for a more darker, more serious style. There are some moments of comedy littered throughout the entire show, mostly regarding Lucy and a bit more with Maximus, but it's alright and it's solid. Thanks for joining me once again. My name is Explicit Sage, and I'll catch you on the next video.